Your budget isn't failing because you lack discipline. It's failing because it was designed for a version of America that doesn't exist anymore. Look, I need to be straight with you. If you've tried the 50-30-20 rule, if you've color-coded spreadsheets, if you've downloaded every budgeting app out there and still can't make it through the month without stress, you're not broken. The system is. Here's what you're going to understand by the end of this. Why the budgeting methods everyone recommends were built for stable incomes and predictable expenses, two things most Americans don't have anymore, and what actually works when your paycheck fluctuates and your rent just went up again. And this matters right now because we're living through something specific. Inflation isn't just a news headline, it's hitting your grocery bill, your gas tank, your insurance premium. Meanwhile, more of us are working gig jobs, contract work. We're dealing with irregular hours. The old budgeting playbook doesn't account for any of that. Let's start with the most popular method out there, the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% to wants, 20% to savings. Sounds reasonable, right? Except here's the problem. The median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the US is pushing $1,500 a month. If you're making $40,000 a year, that's about $3,300 monthly after taxes. Your rent alone is already 45% of your income. Add car insurance, groceries, utilities, and you're way past that 50% for needs before you've bought coffee or paid your phone bill. The rule assumes your necessities fit neatly into half your paycheck. For most people under 35, that ship sailed years ago. But here's what most people miss. Traditional budgeting assumes your income is the same every month. It's built for the classic salary job. You know what's coming in, you divide it up, you're done. That's not reality for a huge portion of workers anymore. If you're doing DoorDash on the side, if your retail hours change week to week, if you're freelancing, if you work on commission, your income isn't predictable. Some months you clear $3,000, other months it's $2,200. How are you supposed to budget 30% for wants when you don't know what the total is until the month is already over? You can't. So you either over-restrict yourself when money's good or you blow past your limits when it's tight. Either way, you feel like you're failing. And let's talk about that 20% savings goal. I'm not saying saving is bad. Obviously, it's not. But when you're living paycheck to paycheck, being told to save $600 a month feels like a joke. Most Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without a credit card. Telling someone in that position to save $600 a month isn't advice, it's noise. The real problem starts when people try anyway. They force the savings, hit an emergency 2 weeks later, pull the money back out, and feel like they failed. The cycle repeats. The shame builds. They stop trying altogether. Traditional budgeting doesn't give you a plan for when life punches you in the face. It just tells you you should have been better prepared. So what do? First, flip the priority. Your budget needs to start with survival, not aspiration. Write down your non-negotiables: rent, minimum debt payments, utilities, basic food, transportation to work. That's your floor. Everything else is secondary. If your income is irregular, build your budget around your lowest earning month from the past 6 months. Yeah, it's conservative, but it means you're not scrambling when a slow week hits. Anything above that floor becomes a choice, not a crisis. Second, forget percentages. Use dollars. If you know you need $1,800 to survive the month, that's your target. It doesn't matter if it's 50% of your income or 80%, the rent doesn't care about ratios. Third, create buffers, not savings goals. A buffer is different. It's $300 in your checking account that you pretend doesn't exist. It's there for the surprise car repair, the medical copay, the overdraft you're about to hit. You're not saving for a vacation. You're buying yourself room to breathe. Once you've got a small buffer, then you think about longer-term savings. And fourth, this one's important, budget weekly if your income is unpredictable. Monthly budgets assume you've got the full amount on day one. Most people don't. Break it into weeks. Did you make $400 this week? Cool. Allocate it. It's slower, it's more tedious, but it actually reflects how money moves in and out of your life. Let me clarify something important. The reason traditional budgeting advice is everywhere isn't because it works for everyone, it's because it's simple to teach and it sounds responsible. Financial influencers love the 50-30-20 rule because it fits on a single Instagram graphic. Banks promote it because it makes people feel in control even when they're not. But nobody's checking back in 6 months to see if you're still using it. They got the click, you got the guilt. The advice isn't malicious, it's just outdated. It's designed for an economy where wages kept up with costs, where most jobs were stable, where emergencies were rare. That's not the world we're living in. Look, budgeting isn't supposed to make you feel like a failure. It's supposed to give you clarity. If the method you're using makes your life harder instead of easier, it's the wrong method, period. You don't need a perfect system. You need one that works with your actual income, your actual expenses, and your actual life. That might be a simple spreadsheet. It might be cash and envelopes. It might be a notes app on your phone where you track daily spending. What matters is that it reduces stress instead of creating it. Real security comes from understanding your financial reality, even when the math is uncomfortable, not from forcing yourself into a framework that was never built for you in the first place. If this helped you see budgeting differently, share it with someone who's been struggling with the same thing. And if you want more honest breakdowns of how money actually works in 2025, not how it's supposed to work in theory, stick around. I'll see you in the next one.